The following footage is brought to you by WouldyouKindly.com.
They're bouncing. What are you looking at? I wish I could bounce.
I really love JRPGs. Sadly, I don't get the time to cover them that much just because they're so time-consuming. So it's pretty easy to see why I might miss a game or two, or even a series. One of these series I've missed is the Tales series by Namco Bandai. Today, I'll be playing Tales of Vesperia for the Xbox 360. I just finished that game, and let's just say I love me some Tales of Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia came out on the 360 in the West in 2008. Well, most games this gen have not aged that well. In the case of Vesperia, it still looks damn good. You got your anime intros, you got your anime cutscenes, you got great looking cel-shaded graphics. The towns and the environments are lush and full of detail. The world is so vast and has so many breathtaking places that await you and the crew. And the animation is just fantastic. Just looking at this game, you couldn't really tell that it was an early title for the system. And I think it's in part due to the fact of the awesome looking cel-shaded graphic art style. The music, of course, is very well done and what you expect out of a great JRPG. The main theme also gets stuck in my head quite often. It's kind of J-pop-ish, and I don't care. I like it. The voice acting is also really well done. You got Troy Baker playing the voice of Yuri Lull, who can be best described as...
Realized a prison of peace would never hold a sociopath like yourself.
I'm more of a puckish rogue.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Troy Baker.
We finished them off.
I finished them off.
Huh?
We all know you cannot be a puckish rogue without a great story behind you, and Tales of Vesperia has a great story. You're just a normal guy living in the slums when Water Blastia, or a magic water rock, was stolen from them. Many twists and turns happen, you run into a princess. Yeah, there's some tropes there, but it's really, really good. And then you finally learn that a water rock is the least of your problems. At first, I was going to review this game with only playing 10 hours, and looking back at it now, that was going to be a dumb mistake. I finished this game without doing many side quests, I'll admit. But the story itself took me 38 hours, and it is filled with so many twists and turns. There were so many things I didn't see coming. I was just so glued to the story. It can be lighthearted at times, but there are times that it can get downright dark and serious, and it works well. The characters are great, even the stereotypical annoying kid, who happens to be kind of likable most of the time.
That is unforgivable. Period. Oh, my neck! My neck! Oh! Oh! Help me, Yuri!
That'd take effort. Just play nice with each other, kids.
And an elf lady who has some, let's say, assets. The chemistry from the cast is pretty good with a few awkward moments. Oh, and I almost forgot, Yuri's best friend and loyal companion is a pipe-smoking dog named Rapide. What is there not to like about a game that lets you play as a pipe-smoking dog with a knife? People talk about how the new dogs in Call of Duty are amazing, but this one smokes a pipe and stabs dudes. They ain't got shit on Rapide. Just play this game story. It's one of the many reasons why it's worth playing.
I don't taste very good. You'll get the runs! Oh my gosh! Somebody help me! Ah!
For people who are fans of the Tales series, the gameplay is going to be something you already know about. And if you're a Tales fan, not really for sure why you're watching this, but hey, fantastic. Make sure to share it because I need attention. So, this is my first time into the actual Tales series, and the gameplay is kind of a hybrid between a traditional RPG, where you have a party and you're managing all the actions, but you also got kind of an action, a little bit of a combo system to it, which is kind of neat. So it's kind of like if you took fighting games and mixed it with RPG. So, if you like fighting games like me, then this is kind of a good combination. Combat-wise, you can chain moves together, and you learn combos throughout the game, which makes combat fun and worth experimenting. You can also switch who you play as, though I kind of really like sticking with Yuri for the most part, but it was kind of nice to actually switch up when you wanted to try out different characters, so that was kind of neat. Another great thing is, unlike some JRPGs where you walk and then every 5 steps it's like, oh gosh, I gotta fight a monster, why won't they leave me alone? You can actually see the enemies and you can try to avoid them. Though sometimes there are some parts where I got stuck in a narrow corridor and I couldn't get around them, so yeah, I had to kind of battle them no matter what. But the combat is pretty fun and satisfying, and it makes grinding less of a chore. It's really quite entertaining. Another thing I forgot to mention is that the characters and the team and stuff, you get little skits not only in between battles, but also you get them right after you end a battle, and they're really entertaining, really hilarious, and the team AI is pretty smart. Forgot to mention it, wanted to throw it in there. This game has a lot of other things screaming, hey, I'm a cool traditional JRPG. Of course, you get a lot of loot, and you got a crafting system where you can synthesize and get new gear. You can even cook, which you can go and find recipes throughout the world, and they help boost your stats. The world itself is really huge, really great to explore. You get a boat, then you get a flying boat. What is not a JRPG without some kind of magical flying boat of some kind, right? So you gotta have it. It's just a staple. And of course there are side quests to do, and I have dabbled in a few of them, but I was kind of hooked on the story, so I didn't get to really do too much in them, but there's actually quite a ton more after reading up, after I beat the game, and there is a new game plus afterwards, so maybe I might try that and then try to do some of the side quests, but yeah, it has a lot in it, so you know, if you want just to go through the story, go for it. If you want to have the story plus do a lot of extra side stuff, you got all that. Tales gives you all of it. Tales of Vesperia is one of my favorite games this gen, and I really cannot think of too many bad things to say about it. Only a few minor gripes I've had with it is that the camera, you cannot really move it much, and there are sometimes that it does get in the way, either in combat, or it can get in the way during actual navigation through the world. But most of the time it's not going to be that big of a deal. Also, combat sometimes takes a little bit used to if you're not familiar with the series. It took me a little bit of time, but once I got used to it, got the hang of it, you know, it was actually pretty fun. If you love RPGs, especially JRPGs, do yourself a favor and play it. And give it a shot. You may like it. I never played any of the Tales games, and now I want to play more of it. This is just incredible. But I cannot see how anyone can really hate this game. It has a pipe-smoking dog that stabs people. Unless you're PETA, then I can't help you.
Right, Repeat?
You look a little jealous, Rita. No way.